Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, as you can see, today we are doing a creepypasta, specifically a question to an audience creepypasta. Which means that the ending of this story is going to be based off of your comments. So be prepared for that. Also, this story was written by the author, and let me tell you, this story is absolutely terrifying. If I did a good job narrating it, you'd probably imagine the story in your head with a deep voice, and then reading it with the actual voice just sent shivers down my spine. And legitimately made me nervous. Okay, so let's jump straight into the story. I was at the kitchen sink, just washing dishes and staring out into my backyard. It was a totally normal Tuesday afternoon. The sun was shining, a few birds were hopping around. And then I saw him. The same shadow of a man I've had seen for years in my sleep paralysis nightmares was standing by the old oak tree at the edge of my property. He was just watching me, but I was wide awake. My hands were in warm, soapy water. The radio was playing, and this living nightmare, had just stepped out of my dreams and into my life. I've always been a bad sleeper, but the sleep paralysis didn't start until college. The first time, I had no idea what was happening. I just woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't move. It felt like I was pinned to my mattress under a lead blanket. My eyes were darting all over my dorm room, but the rest of my body was completely locked down. I tried to scream for my roommate, but nothing came out, except this week. Strangled gasped. That's when I saw it. It was like a piece of the night peeled itself away from the corner where the wall met the Sylinga patch of darkness that was blacker than any shadow. It was tall, painfully thin, a silhouette of a man with no face, no clothes, no features at all. Just a void in the shape of a person. It didn't have eyes, but I felt it looking at me. The feeling that hit me wasn't just fear. It was a cold, deep dread, an animal instinct telling me that I was in the presence of something fundamentally wrong. It glided across the room without a sound, and the air got cold as it came closer. It stopped at the foot of my bed, just a silent observer. I was trapped, my heart hammering against my ribs, for what felt like forever. Then, just like that, I could move again. I shot up in bed, drenched in sweat, gasping. The figure was gone. I told myself it was just a nightmare, a really, really vivid one. But it happened again, a few months later, and then again. So I started doing some research. That's when I learned the term sleep paralysis. I read that it happens when your brain wakes up, but your body is still in REM sleep, and that hallucinations are a common part of it. People even had a name for the figure. A shadow person. Finding a scientific explanation was a relief. It meant it wasn't real. It was just a dream. For years, I clung to that. I'd have these episodes. See the tall, dark man? Feel that insane pressure on my chest, and just endure the terror until I could break free. And every single time, I'd tell myself, it's not real. It's just a dream. It can't hurt you. I see now how naive I was. For a while, I thought I was safe when I was awake. Sure, the episodes kept happening, but they were in my dreams. My waking life was mine. I could control it. But that Tuesday at the kitchen sink changed everything. After I saw it by the oak tree, I dropped a plate. It shattered, and the sound snapped me out of it. When I looked back, the yard was empty. Just the tree and the birds. My heart was pounding. I pressed my palms into my eyes, telling myself I was overtired, stressed out, my mind playing tricks on me. Pareidolia. Right. That's the brain's tendency to see patterns and figures where there are none. It had to be that. I cleaned up the broken glass with shaking hands. A few days later, it happened again. I was walking down the hall to my bedroom. The house was dark, and for a split second, I saw a tall, dark figure standing in the doorway. It was just a flicker in my peripheral vision, but I knew it was him. My blood ran cold. I fumbled for the light switch, flooding the hall with light. The doorway was empty. I kept trying to rationalize it. A trick of the light. My own shadow. Anything but the truth. But the sightings got more frequent. A glimpse of a shadowy form in the reflection of my dark TV. A shape across the street under a streetlight. Late at night, too tall and too still to be a person. Every time I'd blink or turn my head, it would be gone. It felt like it was testing me, seeing how close it could get. I felt like I was losing my mind, that the thing I had safely locked away in my nightmares was now bleeding into my waking life. The comfort I once took from science was gone, replaced by a constant, gnawing fear. The feeling of being watched became my new normal. I'd be home alone in broad daylight, and the hairs on my neck would stand up. A room would suddenly get cold, leaving me with goosebumps. At first, it was subtle. A drafty house, an old AC unit. But then the sounds started. A single floorboard creaking upstairs when no one was there. A soft, scraping noise from just outside my bedroom door in the middle of the night. One night, I was working late at my desk, my back to the door. The only light was my computer monitor. I felt that familiar, dreadful chill. Sleep paralysis. My body turned to stone. But this time was different. My eyes were wide open, and the lamp was on. I could see every detail of my room. There were no shadows for it to hide in. It didn't seep out of a corner. It formed in the middle of the room, like the air itself was curdling and twisting into a solid shape. The edges of it shimmered like TV static, but its body was a deep, light-swallowing black. It was taller than ever, its head almost touching the ceiling. Then it moved. It glided toward me, slow and deliberate, and my mind was just a silent scream. I was fighting, trying to move a finger, anything, but I was completely powerless. As it got closer, I heard a sound low, humming buzz, like a dead radio station. The air got thick with the smell of ozone, like after a lightning strike. It stopped right beside my bed and leaned over me. I felt a crushing weight on my chest, making it hard to breathe. Its featureless face was inches from mine, and I could feel the cold coming off of it. Then, it slowly raised one long, spindly arm. It reached its hand a blur of stretched out fingers toward my face. I watched, horrified, as it got closer and closer. The static buzz grew louder. Just as its fingertip was about to touch my cheek, my whole body convulsed. I snapped out of it with a violent gasp, scrambling backward until my back hit the headboard. The room was empty. The sound was gone. The smell was gone. But my lamp was flickering, and the air around my bed was still freezing cold. I just sat there, shaking and crying for the rest of the night, not daring to close my eyes. It's been a week. I haven't slept in my bed since! I've been on the couch with every light on and the TV blaring, but it doesn't matter. My home doesn't feel like mine anymore. It feels like a cage I'm trapped in with my own personal predator. Every creak, every shadow from a passing car sends a jolt of panic through me. I see it everywhere now, in dark windows, at the end of hallways, standing in crowds. I don't know if it's really there every time, or if my mind is just so shattered by fear that I'm seeing it everywhere I look. The line between my nightmares and my reality is gone. I used to think of sleep paralysis as a neurological glitch.